specifically multi-factor authentication, and I'm going to be talking about Twilio Verify.
I definitely had a blast and would recommend coming to this event the next time it's on. I'm not sure when they'll be on next, but it is a really good event to meet people who
Number 9 of 20, whose phone's gonna ring? Oh, yes, we've got a person, we got a winner. Let's give them a round of applause.
With some accent, but now most of you think you're from Greece, so I don't have to pretend that I have an accent. I can speak Greek English, okay? And now we can continue to
The system, the barrier control. So it's quite a complex system.
It's really cool. Like I learned lots from them. I also learned a lot of things from
Okay, and now clap your hands.
So I'm just going to be using vanilla HTML, vanilla HTML and vanilla JavaScript to do the front-end pages, and just kind of talk to you about how to use our APIs, talk to you about different methods of multi-factor authentication, and we'll slowly build up from there. And then hopefully at the end, I might be able to squeeze in a demo of some really, really cool new stuff that we're working on, and hopefully you will soon be able to get your hands on as well. All right, let's get started. Before we begin, this is being recorded. This is interactive, so please feel free to raise your hand and ask a question. There'll be times when I'm talking, and you can raise your hand, and I'll ask you. I'll stop and pause to ask you a question. And if, for example, you're following along and you get stuck, I also have handy colleagues, specifically I also have Marius, who is also a developer evangelist. If you also speak German, he speaks German, so he can help you out as well. That he can come around and maybe help you if you're following along on your computer and you just are stuck on something and you need to just get unblocked. All right, so this is a hands-on workshop, so I will be taking pauses for people to catch up and follow along. If you don't want to follow along, that's certainly fine. I'll also be working on my laptop. So to follow along, you're going to need a Twilio account. So you can go scan this QR code to create a new Twilio account. And then when you create a Twilio account, you will be given a trial credit, which is an amount of money in your balance of $15. An amount of money. I can't remember off the top of my head. We will give you an extra amount of credit with the promo code CityJSWorkshop23 that you can use only today. And this will give you an extra £20 of credit on top of that. And £35 credit is a decent amount. You can do quite a lot with Twilio. You won't use it in a week or a month, or probably even a year at the rate most of us use it. So you can use this workshop as well if you would like to upgrade your account. So you're going to get a free trial account, and you can follow along with the free trial account. You can use the promo code to upgrade your account, and then you can also use all of the Twilio API services. One thing which I will say is you will need to put in credit card information, but if you're using the promo code, we will not charge you anything. The reason why we need you to put in that information is because in certain countries, when you buy phone numbers, You need to be like identified as a real person. Also for us, it helps us against fraud. So we kind of have an identity attached to the person who bought a phone number. So I just wanted to let you know. All right. I'm gonna pause. Quick question: was this URL to Twilio or to this Code Sandbox? Code Sandbox. All right. So that is the one for the Twilio account. I just realized I'm making a mistake. So if you would like to sign up to the Twilio account, you can do that there. If you would like to follow along, you can use the Code Sandbox link. If you want to find the Code Sandbox link without the QR code, you're going to need it on your laptop, you need to figure out how to share it. I will hit share. Copy this link. And it is this. codesandbox.io/p/github/enigma twilio-city.js/workshop/main. So if you'd like to follow along in Code Sandbox, what that will do is it will spin up an environment where you can just follow along and you don't need to install anything on your computer, and I'll show you that as well. So I'm going to pause for a second because I think 2 people are following along. And if you have typed in this Code Sandbox thing, just give me a wave so I can see that you're all done and you're ready. If I get 2 thumbs up, then I'll move.
Can you put up the Twilio sign up?
The Twilio sign up? Yeah. Cool. The QR code for Twilio sign up is here. Or you can go to twilio.com/tryTwilio. The reason why I would really like you to scan the code is just so that we know like this many people came to our workshop, signed up, and in the future spent £1 million with Twilio, and I can get the promotion that I've always wanted. But seriously, just feel free as well to type into your computer twilio.com/try-twilio or scan it on your phone and then log in afterwards as well. Right, we're going to pause for 2 more minutes and then we'll move on. So we're creating a Twilio account with that code, and then we are going to this URL that we are going to. All right. Anyone got the Code Sandbox up? Cool. People know how to get to twilio.com and sign up to our account. Cool. Remember, if you do need anything at any point, feel free to put your hand up. If I can't answer you, I'll get Marius over to come and give you a hand. So, when you create your Twilio account, you probably will see something like this. You will probably have a thing in the top right that tells you to upgrade to a full account, and you can do that using the promo code that I created. Let's talk about just a few things, because for some people this might be the first time they've used Twilio. If you go on the left to this Explore Products, you're going to see a bunch of different things. Remember when I said we do so many different types of communications, messaging, voice, video, email, all sorts of things. We're going to kind of skip all of that to account security. We're going to talk about these 3 things, but what we're going to do is we're going to come to this verify on the left. If I'm going to ask you to, it'll be really useful if you use this pin and unpin from the sidebar, because we have so many products they can't all fit, so you can customize that to yourself. I'm going to add verify, and then you're going to come over into this verify. And the way Verify works is you have what we call a verified service, and this is kind of like a box that holds all of your verification kind of stuff inside. We're going to create a new one. We're going to create a new service. I'm going to call this my city JS workshop. And when you set it up, you're going to see a couple of things. It's got a friendly name. We've got this service in, which we will be using later. We have a code length, which is, for example, how many digits you want in your 2FA code. And you can also add some notes. And what's really cool is you get this nice little preview of what it'll look like in text. You can also preview what it'll look like with voice.
JS Workshop Verification Codex 766365.
So that's if somebody wanted to do the phone call. And then you can also turn on a couple of other things. I want to call out some things. On yours, please make sure when you go to SMS, Fraud Guard is on. It's really, really important. And I'll talk about why it's important later. We won't worry about WhatsApp, email, voice, push, and TOTP just yet. But hopefully, folks, I think someone's already joining, anonymous. Hello. You can head over to the code Sandbox. And here, all I've got is an Express server. I'm just going to quickly talk you through it. So what do we have? I've got an Express server that's bringing in my account SID, my API key, and my API secret. I'll talk you through this and how you can bring it in. This looks wrong. No, that's right. I just distracted it. And then it's not doing anything. We bring it into video. We've got this Express app. Don't worry about most of this. This just lets me read the bodies of post requests. This serves public files. And then this, if anyone remembers, just helps me manage sessions. We're doing authentication. We're going to need to use the sessions. And we've got, so far, we have we've got these routes, okay? And I can talk you through them. We first have just the index, which should take you to here, where you're just going to enter an email and a password. Now, just to show you how this is working, I've got a secrets URL, and as you can see, it is unauthorized. So let's just talk through how this app is working. So right now, we've got a normal one. I'm so used to my code editor, I hit the save shortcut. I'm going to put in any email, no camera test, any password. And if you look over here, we've got this post request. I just checked that an email and a password exists. I'm not going to actually authenticate, go and check if it's correct. This is what you would do, and you probably already have in your systems already. And then when I do that, I'm going to send them over to a 2FA page where they're going to enter in a number. Right now, this is going to work regardless because it's hard-coded. But then what it will do is it will then verify their number, and then we can eventually get to their session. But we need to fix this. So let's head over into the public, and we can go over to this 2FA page. And let me just show you what's actually going on here. We don't need the header. We are going to focus on this form that has the send code. I'm going to hide all this extra stuff that I don't need as well. All right, so we've got a phone, we've got an input that says enter your phone number. It can also do email, we're not using that right now. And then they've got a button that lets them submit to get a one-time passcode. And all this is going to do is when the person hits submit, it's going to make a post request to start verifying. Does that make sense? With the channel, the locale, which is this number over here, this United Kingdom, United States, etc. And a 2, which is the phone number. And channel right now is hard-coded to be SMS. Okay? Does everyone kind of follow along so far? Are we all good? So now I'm going to talk to you about how we've got now this might be React, this might be Next, but this is now your web page saying, here is a phone number, I need you to verify that this person actually has that phone with them. So what we will do is we'll start by bringing in the Twilio client. And I've done that up here. So in your code, you're going to need to install Twilio. You won't need to install Twilio because you're on Code Sandbox. But what you will need to do is bring in your account SID, an API key, and an API secret. A little trick you can do is you could use your Twilio account SID and just your Twilio auth token. I highly recommend you use API keys and secrets. Let me quickly show you how to go and generate those. If on your Twilio account, you go to account, you go to API keys and tokens. Save. And I'm going to go to account, I'm going to go to my API keys and tokens, and it's going to ask you to verify your email, which I will do on my phone. It's great, I'm being like challenged to do 2FA during the 2FA workshop. Give me a moment. And this is powered by Verify. And I will enter. And what you are going to do is you can create a new API key, and you can enter a key. Do not, I know it can be very tempting to try and use regional ones. For now, just use United States ones because regional ones open up a whole other can of worms that change the way your code works. And just do a standard key, don't do a main key. You're going to need to copy your API key, your API secret, and back here, your account SID. Those three things: API key, API secret, and account SID. And what you can do in Code Sandbox is if you click on here, where's it gone? Just need to. You should be able to add your own environment variables. Okay. What you can do is just create a new file and create a .env file. So give me just a minute. There is environment variables. There we go. Go to project settings and then go to environment variables and add your account SID, your API key, and your API secret. If you want to use the code I've already written, then you just need to write Twilio _account _ SID, Twilio _account _ API key, and it should slide in all of those variables. So if you want to find that again, go to go here, click on project settings, and then you get the environment variables. You can add those to. All right, let's get started actually building. So I'm going to use Twilio, and I'm going to say Twilio, let's go get the Twilio verified product, and we're going to be using version 2 of the API. And what we're going to do is we're going to pick a service, and the service that we're going to pick is this service SID here, which was city.js function. Now, what I actually have decided to do is I've gone over to my project settings, and here I've got that verified service SID just copied over. I'll remove this and put a new one because I created a verified service. Create. So I'm just going to bring it in as an environment variable. This is my service. And then now what we can do is we can create a verification. So I'm going to say this service let's create a verification. And this verification that we're going to create is going to take a couple of properties. It's got to go to someone. It's got to go to someone. We've got this to. It's going to need a channel and a locale. Channel will be a string. In this case, it's a string that says SMS. 2 is the phone number, and locale will be EN for England or GB. No, EN. And what we're going to do is we are going to await that. And only if this works, then we will send a response with JSON that's true. And then let's also put a message that says verification. So this is going to create a verification code using Twilio, and then send that message to our phone, and then just tell the application that I have sent a verification. Let's try this now. I'm going to put in my phone number.
Is this verification synchronous?
Say that one more time.
Is the service verification create sync or async?
It is that, yeah, you're right, I've made a mistake. It should be here. Let me just change this. Like that. Thank you for calling that out because I would have embarrassed myself. So I've got this, and what I could do, and this is what I was doing, I was kind of mixing up two things, is I could have a service and then go const verification equals await service dot verification. There we go. That's what I should have done. Great. So you can see that I am creating this verification, and you'll see why I actually took this out, just because I'm going to use this piece of code over and over again when I refer to the service. And now I am going to, just for fun, console log this verification. Sid. And let's try it. And this is my phone number. And hopefully, any second now, you should get a text message. The phone network in here isn't necessarily very smooth. Wi-Fi back. And unless there were some errors, I should get code. Okay, code. Oh, no, that's something else. That's not it. Give me a moment. Let me quickly jump into. What I'm going to do is I'm going to jump into the 2FA HTML just to make sure that I am actually sending this SMS. And when they submit, send OTP to the channel. Okay, start, verify, push request. Shoot. I know why. I don't have Node on, so it's not refreshing my server, which it has to do that. Shouldn't already use. Nothing else is using it. Give me a moment. One-time passcode, and I should get a text message. There we go, finally. Okay, I got a Twilio SMA text message, and you should get one as well. For those of you who are wondering what went wrong just now, I didn't restart my server after I made my changes. So when I was clicking it, where I had hard-coded that it just works, it wasn't giving me any errors. That was my mistake. So I've restarted my server clunkily, and then now I get my verification code. My verification code I can pop in, but I also need to write another piece of code on my server, or in your serverless function, wherever you want, that is going to check that code. And this time, this is the form that's just sending a to and a code as well, and we will verify it. So what we're going to do is we're going to copy this line that we wrote before again. And this time I'm going to say, can we verify check this? So let's do a verification check. This verification check, we're going to take our service and we're going to do a verification check. Issue service check. And the verification check also takes in two things. It takes in a code and a to. And these are the code and the to that we got from here. So if I were to then say only if this verification check or status is, I believe it's approved, then we send them a success message. Does that make sense? So what we do is we create a verification on one route, and then we check this verification on another route. And we just check that it's approved, and then we've got the verification success. And now I should be able to start by going and restarting my server. It will restart and reload the page with my latest changes. And just give it a moment. Bear with me. It was faster on my machine. Cool. I get code. My code is 05666913. Verify. And set verification. Verifications. Checks. Yeah. Thank you. And I really should have just looked at the code suggestion. Now I need to restart my server. Do this whole thing again. One-time password. Was it? Oh, is this still the old one? Verification checks. And this is where having completed code is really, really useful, because I also have some completed code for this. I'm just going to quickly jump into the verification checks. I didn't think I'll create. That was my problem. That was my mistake. I'll create this. You need to check.
What about TypeScript?
So you can use TypeScript. I usually use TypeScript like when I'm doing stuff outside of here because it was a JavaScript meetup. I just wanted to use JavaScript so we do support TypeScript. Marius uses a lot of TypeScript himself as well, so he's my TypeScript expert.
I assume the client is quite heavy, strictly typed, so this would not happen.
Yep, so we always should bring it after create.
Thank you. Daniel, live coding for me today is not, it's not working. All right, we'll do this one more time. And then we'll try. While this waits up. Alright, I'm going to switch to my code editor and work through this locally because it's not working for me. Okay. Alright, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to pick up from and let's just continue from localhost 3001 and be done with it. So here we have the phone number. I'm going to pop mine in. I'm going to get a text message. I'm really sorry, folks. I'm just trying to quickly debug my local copy because it's here's what we're going to do. I really do apologize, folks, for that. I think I've got a code, I've got a bug in my code. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to go on the fly and switch what we're going to do. We're still going to talk about Twilio 2FA, but I'm going to talk to you, what I was going to skip to halfway through my presentation, and skip to the code exchange. So Twilio.com, we also have what we call the code exchange, which is where we write code and we place it publicly for folks to quickly deploy their own two-factor authentication applications. So what you can do is at any point in time, once you have a Twilio account, you can go to twilio.com/code-exchange. And then you can go and find the verify section, and you can find different versions of our verified product. So you can quickly deploy one-time passcode verification. The cool thing is here, all I need to do is hop in and verify services, which I have over here. Get rid of this, don't want to see it now. And deploy this application. Now what this will do is, this will do exactly what I was doing on my local computer, but it will do it serverless, on serverless functions that Twilio has. So what we'll have is instead of the server where I had the code writing that was checking the Twilio Verify API, it will use Twilio's functions. And I will show you in the live application. So this is the live application. Here we have SMS, we have WhatsApp, we have call. We don't have email because you have set it up. I'm going to pick the United Kingdom. I'm going to put in my number and get a one-time password, and I should receive a text message. There we go. And with this text message, which was 969 062 it can show that I have a verification success, and then this is where I'll issue a token, session and say, here is your profile, and all of that will be stored locally on your front end. But what I wanted to continue to talk about after that is you may want to add other channels. You may want to add WhatsApp, you may want to add different things. And why would you want to add WhatsApp and email? So some of you may have seen this tweet that became very, very popular, where a very, very famous person decided to turn off SMS 2FA like immediately because it was too expensive, because they were being hit with what is called SMS pumping fraud. Okay, so if we talk a little bit about this, so every time that Twilio sends a text message using Twilio Verify, we charge you, I can't remember how many pennies it is, but we charge you like X many pennies. So what we charge you for is basically a bit on our end, but then also the carrier that we are sending the message to can charge us for sending a message to them. So we kind of take that cost and pass it on to you. What happened is some bad actors went and made a deal with carriers and said, if I can guarantee you that there's going to be 1 million messages hitting your carrier, can you pay me or split the amount of money you would charge? So then what they would do is they would have bots that go onto different websites like Twitter and create millions of fraudulent verification checks to this carrier service, and then they would profit. And the reason why it would screw people like us is that we would create an SMS verification that we thought was secure, and then all of a sudden we go and we have a bill for thousands and thousands of pounds. So a couple of ways that you can prevent this is if you go into your Verify service, is you can just turn on Fraud Guard. And what do we do with Fraud Guard? We basically keep an eye out on certain carriers that we know do these things, and we block that activity. So that's number one, automatic, you don't have to do anything. Secondly, if we notice that a specific range of numbers, so for example, it'll be 079, 1, and then the next one 2, and then the next one 3, and then the next one 4, and then it'll send like 5 verifications in milliseconds from each number. And so what we do is we detect that, and we also make sure that those don't get passed on to you. So we'll use rate limits. You can also add rate limits to any of your verifications. So what you can do is you can, when you're creating a Verify service, I'll actually show you the code here in this application. So remember when I said there were functions, the functions are here. We've got this start verification, and here you can see it's doing pretty much what I was saying, was creating a verification to a channel and a locale. And what you can also do is you can add rate limits. And then what you can do is then you can add some information. So you can say, I want to rate limit this by the IP address that is making this verification request. So you can then figure out, oh, these IPs are all doing it. I would like Twilio to then create a rate limit on this. So this IP address can only do this many, or not just this IP address, any IP address can only make this many verification requests within this amount of time. What you can also do is you can do user agent, and you can block maybe a certain user agent, maybe if you realize that something fishy is going on as well. So you can also add rate limits as well. You can then, and what we really encourage people to do is then use WhatsApp and email. Email is kind of hit and miss, because the thing is, if someone's email client is compromised, then everything is compromised. It's not really always two-factor authentication. But WhatsApp is really good because they cannot do this SMS pumping fraud on WhatsApp. So using WhatsApp and email is also a good alternative. What you can also do with the Twilio Code Exchange is you can then also set up timed one-time passwords. Timed one-time passwords is when you use the authenticator apps. And you can also quick deploy these as well. And then you can also do push notifications and all sorts of things. But one thing which I do want to also say is that you can then begin to add lookups in front of your code. So what you would do is, rather than just sending a message to a phone number that wanted to be verified, you can run a lookup on that phone number. I actually have some completed code that does that right here. And what I do here is, when I start my verification check, I first do a lookup on the Twilio account. So I say, Twilio, here is a phone number. Can you give me information about this? And what Twilio will do is Twilio will return who the carrier is. Twilio will return how many times this phone number has also done a verification attempt. Twilio will return if it's premium. If it's premium, that means it's going to cost more, and that cost is going to be passed on to you. It will also tell you if it's a real mobile phone or if it's voice over IP, so like a Google Fi or some other service as well. And you can use that as well to turn off 2FA and switch to another verification. So you can say, we don't support this phone number for 2FA, we do support it on WhatsApp, or we do support it on something else as well. So you can also do that to protect yourself, your bank account, and your application while still providing 2FA to your users. So again, I wanted to talk about the different types of 2FA methods, 2FA authentications that you can use. If you do want to explore this as well, you can go over to the code exchange, copy it, and then just swap out parts of your front-end application and use the Twilio verify functions to handle the verifications as well. And SNA, I will talk about SNA, I'm not going to do the demo right now. But SNA is silent network authentication. So it's a new thing that we have been working on recently, and we currently have it in private beta. And what that is that before with SMS 2FA, one of the problems with it is the fact that when someone does an SMS 2FA, a couple of things could happen. A, you could have SIM swaps. So SIM swap is when an actor tricks a phone carrier into saying, I'm the new owner of this phone number. So a person is able to replicate your SIM somewhere else. But what Verify Silent Network Auth does is we work directly with your phone carrier. So we directly work with the T-Mobile, and we can see if that phone number has been swapped recently. So we will see that that phone number had a new SIM provisioned yesterday. This is a bit suspicious. It's suddenly trying to do a 2FA authentication challenge. And then also with SNA, what we then do is we then, rather than sending a text message, we ask that phone number to create a HTTP request over mobile network data to our server. And when we do that, we skip the fact that the person receives a code, and we just check that that phone number is attached to that carrier on that service. Now, this won't be used in a website, but where this will be really, really useful is on like mobile apps like a React Native app. For example, your app can readily guarantee that this phone is the phone that it claims to be, if that makes sense. Also, if you have a partner app, so you have an app on your phone as well as on the internet, you can use that to skip all of the some of the dangerous parts. For example, sending a code and someone intercepting that code, or someone convincing you to copy that code for yourself as well. So those are some of the things that you can do with Verify as well. I'm going to quickly show this video of a demo of someone using Verify. So when this comes in, straight away you saw that there was, I'm going to play it one more time. You can see here that they literally enter their number in on the app, and then it just goes and checks that this phone is on the same carrier and is the person that they're saying. This phone is the device that it's saying is. Does that make sense? So someone on another computer can't replicate your SIM and do that as well. So the phone carrier knows that this is you. The reason why we know this is secure is because this is actually the same system that the phone carriers use to build you, to know that it is your SIM making these phone calls and so on and so forth. And that's what you can use Silent Network for as well. So you can actually get started with that. You do need to, it's a private beta, so you do need to get that feature flag turned on your account. And then once you do that, you'll be able to quickly run SNA as well. Now, Now, I'm going to also shout out a talk which will be happening on Thursday by Maris. He will have his demo working. We'll make sure his demo is working. Where he's going to talk about all of these things, and he's going to do a live demo of SMA as well. So, overall, if you, I know, sorry, I do want to apologize if some things didn't work and I kind of like frazzled and I had to change things up on the fly. But the key things I do want people to take away is 2FA is still good, right? Lots of people are criticizing 2FA, specifically SMS 2FA, and not and it does have some things that it could be better at. Whereas people are not. The adoption of authenticator apps like a Google Authenticator or Authy are not yet at the scale at which we can turn that on. So SMS is still really, really good. But we can then make our SMS 2FA apps much better by using, for example, Verify to turn on WhatsApp or push notifications as well if you have the native app. And you can do all of that, and you can do all of that with Twilio protecting you from SMS pumping fraud and some other things if you want to use Verify as well. Is there anything else? I do want to shout out that we have a account security developer evangelist called Kelly Robinson, who has written a lot of blog posts. She was the one who actually wrote all of the code exchanges with the Verify, so you can definitely look her up and find out more. She also does some webinars which are on demand if you want to share her teachings with other people as well. We are working consistently on doing other things and other ways to keep people's devices secure online and on the web. And yeah, I am going to end it here and pause for any questions.
Go back to the promo code.
There was the promo code. You have CityJS Workshop 23 and CityJS Workshop.
No, the 23 doesn't work.
Oh, it doesn't work? The USD. So the USD should work on accounts that are in US dollars, and the 22 should work on accounts that are in Great British pounds. Oh, it didn't work. I do apologize. But USD.
It was fixed on
It was fixed in USD. Alright, I do apologize for that. Okay, there we go. Are there any other questions? It's not
anywhere.
So no other service provider has it that I know of publicly yet. Not in anything that's more than a beta. I don't think it's patented. I don't know. It's the answer to the question. I don't know if it's patented. It can't be patented because it's what the phone networks themselves use to verify your phone on their network. So we're just attaching it to our verified product, if that makes sense.
What would you say is the benefit of 2FA over SMS or WhatsApp regarding to, for example, 2FA over authenticator apps?
2FA over authenticator app, so it's adoption, right? And the example that I kind of thought about when I was talking to someone is when you go to a bank, right? There are different levels of security. If you wanted to get just the cash that is in the till in front of you, you threaten one person, and there is a certain amount of cash you can get. If you want to get into the bank safe in the back, there are so many other levels of security to get through to get there, right? Now, if an authenticator app is the bank safe, the bank vault, I would say SMS 2FA is the till in front of the cashier. And the reason I say this is for people who are logging on to maybe a product or something that isn't high risk to them, the adoption of more friction authentication methods drops dramatically. So Google did a bit of research for a while, and they showed that the more friction that you had on login, the less likely people were to use it and turn it on, and then the more likely they were to get hacked. So the idea is to have everyone on SMS minimum, and then try and promote people up further up the chain. So it's friction. Friction is the important difference here. But friction and adoption are very, very closely related.
Yeah.
And you cannot send, you cannot use time-based one-time passwords for sign-up because you don't have. So you need something as a sign-up, and then for logins you could use.
You'll still need to there's verification and authentication. Verification and authentication. Verification
will work.
You can't use Google Authenticate. Yeah, you can't use an authenticator app to verify someone. You can use them to authenticate someone. That's.
Thank you.
And if that is that, I will end it here. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you so much for hanging out. I know it's the end of the day. But if you have any more questions, you want to find out more about Twilio, you want to find out more about where you can see other demos of Twilio and other things, feel free to hit me up, hit one of my colleagues up, and we will answer any of those questions. Thank you.
Do you have the code in GitHub?
Say that again.
Do you have the code on GitHub?
Yes, the code is on GitHub at github.com/nokenwa Twilio-citijs-workshop. I would recommend as well that you go to the Code Exchange, or the Code Exchange code is on GitHub. So if you go to Code Exchange, if I wanted to verify, get one-time passwords,
What is the guy that is gonna
I can get code and view it.
on the other events? More as well, the big company. To work with this meetup here, we're gonna go there and we can set up the thing.
So if you go into twilio.com/code-exchange,
We're gonna go to another place nearby.
click on verify, all of this code is available on GitHub. So if you click on one of them, and then click on get code rather than
before
deploy,
it comes in.
then you can
Comes
find.
in, we can go home. It's okay, but.
And the thing is, we have different ones for different types of SMA. I kind of mangled all of them together in my workshop in a way that you wouldn't really use. Because, for example, you wouldn't have an authenticator app with person signs in. Whereas on my page, you wouldn't have, you would have like SMS fallback and exponential retries. Which I didn't include in my workshop, but is in those. So I would highly recommend using those. Cool.
Is there any requirement to use another in order to work related to the city where it is located or the country?
Say that one more time.
Is there any requirements for this technology? I mean, the verifying.
Yeah,
In order to work in for example, in a country.
There is no. Can it work in other countries? Is that?
Yeah.
Yes. So, for example, any working phone number in the world. Hang on, I'm going to take that back. I can't say everything. I know that many countries in the world we support verifying in. I think nearly all of them. On your account, on your Twilio account, you can actually add geo permissions to choose countries that you maybe don't want it to work in. For example, if you are not offering services in I'm going to throw my own country under the bus, Nigeria, for example, you can turn off Nigeria by default, right? But without, and also when you sign up to an account, if you go to geo permissions, if there is maybe a certain country that has lots of fraud coming out of it, maybe a majority is fraud, we have those off by default, and we will let you go and turn those on yourself, but we won't have them on by default. But any regular phone number that can receive messages from anywhere in the world can receive Twitter messages. So verified as well. Cool. By the way, feel free to stand up if you want to leave. No worries. If you have any more questions, then you can feel free to.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much.